Ladies, welcome to another episode of the Revitalized Womanhood podcast. And I am so excited for this guest. I'm so excited for all my guests, honestly, because I love being able to get together with women and use this podcast selfishly to get to know really cool women. So I'm okay admitting that this podcast is selfish, and I love it because it helps me make friends with really cool women and have really cool conversations with women. So I have for you today, ladies, Ivanka Siolkowsky. Did I do it? You did it. I picked the I. That's good.
It's a good choice.
Ivanka. I just love saying your name. Ivanka, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me and for being excited to say my name.
Yes, I'm very excited. Would you please introduce yourself to my listeners?
Oh gosh, so many things. I guess the main thing is that I'm Ivanka, professional home organizer, and I am the owner of a business called The Tidy Moose, where I travel around the world helping clients declutter their lives and just find that inner peace that everyone is searching for.
You know that you sound like Celine Dion?
I have heard that. I have heard that I used to look like her, but I've been eating a lot of cheeseburgers lately, so I've the cheekbones are not
Celine
quite.
needs to eat a few more cheeseburgers. I would recommend that Celine eats a few more.
I'll call her and tell her.
Yes. I'm a huge fan, so of course I heard it. I can hear it. Anyway, let's get past that randomness. I completely opened with Ivanka before we started recording with, I'm totally random. Whatever you say goes here, it's fine. So she had the warning. She had the previous warning.
I'm
So
equally random, so this is going to be a very interesting podcast of like
That's so
all over the place.
fun. That is so fun.
I agree.
I was telling you that I'm in my year of declutter because we have been, I should be an expert at this, Ivanka. I should, because my family, I don't know if you've looked or researched at all, but we've been traveling internationally since 2017 out of
I
backpacks.
have seen that. Yeah, that's amazing.
So I have lived with nothing, little to nothing, right? I have 4 packing cubes that are still sitting next to me full. We've been home since Christmas.
No one has to know.
And no one knows because you can't see them. But we've lived out of these backpacks. And so the entire time we're gone, we think, what on earth do we need anything at home for? We don't need any of it. And so
But we all
this
keep
time
it.
especially, but we all keep it. Oh my gosh. We
So
all
weird.
have these emotional attachments to, but if you'll be so proud of me. I literally just got rid of one of the shirts hanging in my closet. Don't tell my husband, that still had the tag on it that I thought was so special. We got it in Alaska and I thought, this is so fun. This is so special. It's been 2 years. Still has the tag on it.
Oh, that's very normal, surprisingly. I just did the same thing yesterday where I was giving away, because I'm doing a year of no shopping. I'm sure we'll dive into that.
Oh, we are going to dive into
And
that.
every day I'm not only not shopping, but I'm getting rid of 2 items a day. But my next 3 weeks are jam-packed with clients. I have 2 out-of-town clients. Like, I thought, I can't just do the 2 a day. I have to go through and just do a full call of things to make sure that I've got them until February 22nd. So I went to my closet and I had 3 things that had tags on them. And I'm a minimalist-ish person. So that was like, ooh, you're embarrassing. They went to my cousin. She's very happy with them, but it was embarrassing to see that because I haven't shopped since really before COVID. So those have been sitting there a while.
Ladies, let me tell you what we're talking about here. Okay, so you're a home organization, mental health advocate. 2 separate things, but all in the same thing.
All in the same,
right?
yeah.
All in the same category, because like I just said, we have so many emotions tied to all of the things that are all over our house that then create the stress and anxiety of our daily lives. That's me. You guys, I am projecting. This is how I feel
That's
right now
everyone.
about my
It's
life.
honestly everyone. So I don't even think you're projecting. I think it's everyone. I think we all buy to fill a void because that's
Yeah.
how consumerism works. They're like, oh, you're sad, you need this. Oh, you have something going on, you need this. And that's marketing. That's what we have been fed in North American culture for so long, that's what we're taught. Oh, if I buy this, I will no longer have this problem in my life. And we all know that's not true, but we do it with the hopes that it might.
Do you want to hear something really funny? This is a
Yes, I
funny
do.
little anecdote. I just got done recording with a financial coach.
Ooh.
that
Oh, I
same
watched
kind of
that.
yeah.
Or
Oh, no, I just got done
no.
recording.
Oh, I saw one where you were talking about your credit card at
Oh,
15.
yes.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
also talked to another financial coach. So I just
Okay.
got done talking to another. So Amanda Hanquist, so we were talking about the same thing, right? Because this is my soapbox. This is absolutely my soapbox is why women feel like they need to buy all the Amazon things and have the front. My shtick is the front porch decorated. Have you seen in the fall when all the women
Oh, I've
decorate their front
seen.
porches?
It is my biggest
I
pet peeve.
can't I can't do it. You guys, if you saw my front porch is hideous. So yes, I like to have a little something, but no, really. Anyway, so I just got done recording with her. So I've already been on the soapbox, but I will be back on there again. I have no problem with it. And I thought to myself, oh, I need to record right into another recording. I need to change my outfit. Does that not just fit into this, what we just talked about perfectly? It's so perfect. Like, why would I need to change my outfit? Nobody's even watching the YouTube. Like, if they are
May-
watching the YouTube, maybe they just really think that I just really love this shirt,
Maybe. And that's okay if you do.
and that's okay.
And you could have recorded these like 3 months apart
Right.
and had the same shirt. So who cares?
But in my brain, I thought, I have to change my shirt. I have
Yep.
to look different. And that is exactly the foundation where we're starting here. So, you are a home organization and mental health advocate and an author. Let's just get this, at least the title out of the way, because we are going to be diving into this. Because if this title does not grab anyone, so which came first? It would have been the year of shopping, right? Because now we're into the year of no shopping.
I suppose every year is the year of shopping.
Oh, okay. I guess that's true. Okay, so now we're into the year of no shopping, and that's what stopped me in my tracks. Just so you know, I was like, "Wait a minute, what is she talking about?" And then the declutter your way to help. Yes, in the
Yep.
title, gorgeous, and the tidy moose. I cannot wait to check that out because I have 3 littles who are going to love the tidy moose.
Yay.
Yay. So I don't know where else to begin other than talk to me about the year of no shopping because that's what stopped me in my tracks and I am here for it.
That surprisingly stopped a lot of people in their tracks. And I still am comprehending what happened because I have done this now 3 years, not in a row,
Mm,
but since 2017 was my first year that I've done this. I had a decent following back then, but no one really paid attention. They're like, okay, whatever, she's not shopping. Like, I had my typical like 20 followers that follow along and comment and whatever, and the rest are like, whatever. And then I did it again, same thing. And then this year, I woke up. It was January 1st. I remember because I woke up and was like, well, I'm doing the year no shopping. Maybe I should make a video or something. And I was like, I'm currently back at home in my family home. My father has dementia, so I'm
mhm.
doing the caregiver thing. And for someone who's not lived at home since I was 18, I'm now 41. It's been an adjustment to say the least, but
Right.
also to not have that beautiful home of like the modern, like all the things you see on Instagram, which is like my apartments and my homes in the past have been that. So I was like, crap, I have to film something. I don't have a beautiful home to film in. I was like, I'll call my friend Courtney. She lives around the corner, maybe. And I'm like, Ivanka, kind of like with your shirt thing. You're like, it's New Year's Day. You can't just call someone and be like, hey, can I come filming your house because I have to film? Like, so dumb, first of all. So I woke up, I'm like, I'll just do like a quick pan of my closet, a quick pan of my drawers, and a quick pan of my shoe shelf. That's it. And I made this video. It is now up to 6 million views.
Wow.
And I have been blown away because now all of a sudden people care that I'm doing this and there's a lot of pressure with that. But I'm like, oh my God, I now have to give more advice and kind of like this is our journey now. It's less
You
about
struck a nerve.
organization. I did. And I gained 70,000 followers in 3 days.
Wow.
So it's a lot of people are feeling it with the economy. They're feeling it with just everything. I think people are tired. They're tired of influencers. They're tired of that whole mentality. And I actually get very angry when people call me an influencer because I'm not. I'm a business owner.
Right.
I use my Instagram to grow my business. Very rarely do I promote a product. If it's something that will help you, I will promote it. I get the emails every day. Oh, we think you'd be a great fit. I'm like, read the room. You think
I
I'd be a
do
great fit to
I
sell
don't want people to
something?
spend money.
Yeah. Like this year alone, I've
Read the
gotten like
room.
15, or this week alone, I've gotten 15 emails saying, we think we are a great fit to sell Burberry, to sell what. I'm like, no, I'm not selling anything. But anyway, all that to say, like, it's really honing in on what it is that we're doing this year and focusing on decluttering, because we have to get our headspace back, because none of us have it anymore, because every time we open our phone, there's someone telling us to buy something. And quite frankly, we're sick of it. The Stanley Cup thing has,
I
don't even
live
get
in
me
Utah.
started on that. Oh
Are
God.
you I live in Utah. Do you follow Jane?
I do not, but did you see this SNL skit on
Uh-uh.
Saturday?
Oh, no, there's a Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and it's basically the Utah
Tell me,
moms.
Utah moms. I bet they follow Jane, and I bet that's how they got to it. So, yeah, when you get off, go follow Jane. She is hilarious, and she makes fun of Utah moms all day long, and it is so funny
Oh, I
because it
will.
is so accurate. When we were in Australia, so I have a friend, so I am LDS. I'm not active, but I am LDS, so there is a culture around that, of course. But so
Mhm.
we were in Australia, and our friend that we were there with is LDS as well. They are active LDS. And she was telling me about these women that she followed on Instagram from Utah. And she's like, "Oh, they're from Utah too. Do you know each other?" No, she really didn't say that.
Yeah.
But she's like, It was so interesting because I was following her for so long. And just the whole time, all the while, assuming that she's going to the gym with her sisters and going to shopping with her sisters and going whatever she's doing. She's got these other women with her and they're sisters. And I'm like, no, they're not sisters. They're
They
not
all just
related.
look the
They're from
same.
Utah. We just all look the same. And she's like, "You wouldn't find that here." And I'm like, "Obviously, this is like the melting pot." Like, yes, so I get it. And it's fun. And I love it. I love to make fun of it because it is true. There is truth to it. And
You can laugh
it
at
is what it is.
every place has something. So
You gotta just laugh with
that's your shtick, like
laugh at it. Yeah, that's
the
the
big
shtick.
hats and the curly hair and the
Yes, absolutely. Leaving the ends straight, that's my favorite part is I can't even do it, like, on purpose. I don't know, but that is it's yeah,
it's the
so
Utah air. It just
it's
happens.
the Utah thing. It's the thing. So I actually getting back to you saying that you're back in your childhood home with your dad, and I'm so sorry about that. Rick, my husband, and I actually helped take care of his grandmother when she was battling with dementia. So we had her in our home for, parts of the time as well, but I had the exact same because I've started showing because this is my year of we're going to eat because we're not going to travel this year full time. This is
Mhm.
our first year back being back. We're going to do some trips and whatever because you can't just be cold turkey. But
Yeah.
so we have freezers out here full of gorgeous game meat. 'Cause my husband's a hunter. We have a
Mhm.
fishing boat in Alaska. We've got freezers full of all this meat. So my goals are not only to declutter my home, but also empty these freezers. Why am I spending money going out to eat when I've got all of this gorgeous meat, right? I don't want it to go
Yeah.
to waste. So here I am filming the first of every week on Sundays. Here's the meal prep. Here's what I'm doing for Rick for his lunches this week. And my stove is, I kid you not, the guy was here to fix my refurbished washer and dryer that I just bought on purpose because I wanted them that way.
Mhm.
He was here to fix something on the washer, and he looks over and he's like, "Wow, look at that stove. Haven't seen one of those in a while." And I'm like,
Oh.
"Yeah, this is my house." But it's true. You get those, I shouldn't be showing this. I'm embarrassed to show this. And it's like,
But
why?
but why? The majority of Americans and Canadians live like
Yes,
that.
yes,
That's the
yes.
part that I really had to, because I showed something where I was filming and someone commented, they're like, "It's really refreshing to see a normal home." And I was like, "Whoa."
Will you send
Because
them to my page too?
I've been I've yeah, I've been embarrassed because, like, it's the same carpet. Like, who has really carpet anymore?
Carpet.
But it's where I am, there's a carpet. And I was like, "Well, dude, I'm not gonna rip it out and get like, I'm not here forever. This is like, I'm here to help and do that. That's my focus." But the carpet's kind of embarrassing. So I'm like, "Oh, shoot," because I used to have, like, nice bamboo floors, and I would film stuff, and, like, they would, and I'm like, "Oh, the carpet, whatever, just film anyway." And that was someone's comment, and it was an aha moment because I thought, "What are we doing? We're constantly, even with like the front porch decor and you got to change your kitchen every 2 years because it's a new style. And we are being brainwashed into thinking that we are not enough, buying the bigger homes to fit stuff. Like my mom grew up with 3 brothers and her parents, there were 4 children, 2 parents in a house, in a 2-bedroom house.
Right.
Somehow they all survived and turned into very successful people. And here we are telling society that you need a massive home with 3 extra bedrooms in case someone comes to visit, or like it. But most people don't live that way.
Right.
And that's what we have to really realize and be okay with, I think.
So how do you get to the bottom of that? How? How do you dig? How do you dig down to the bottom, first of all, to start healing from that?
I think it's, first of all, admitting it and having
Mm.
conversations with other people like we're having right now, talking about the t-shirt change or the like old stove or me and the carpet. There's nothing wrong with either of us because of these things,
Yeah.
right? We're not serial killers. I'm assuming you're not a serial killer. We just met, so I
No,
don't know.
not yet. I
Okay,
mean,
well, fair.
I'm still
In
okay.
this
I'm still
moment.
okay. In this moment, we're still safe from that.
Yeah, but we're having that conversation and we're letting people know that it's okay. We don't have to be glam all the time. It's okay to be glam, like whatever you are, that's okay. I think that's the message. It's not a judgment on one or the other. Because if I was a billionaire, I would probably have a nicer house. I would have ripped out this carpet and be like, Dad, you're coming to live with me. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
There's nothing wrong
Right.
with that either. But the majority of people that are scrolling through and looking at our feeds are the average Joe who right now is struggling to afford groceries because of the
Yes.
economy, struggling. Some are struggling to
Healthcare.
afford healthcare, rent. Um, I, as a female who is not married and without kids and anything, I am a single income. And so I'd have to buy a house with someone in order to afford a home.
Right.
And it's not because I don't make money. I make a decent amount of money. But that's how messed up our economy is. Like, I can't just buy a home on my own, which is
My husband
bonkers.
My husband explained to me because he throws numbers out, like, he just processes numbers so well, but he
Mhm.
throws them at me, and usually I tune out, but this one was very interesting. He said, so we have a very good friend who is a very successful builder here in this area, and he started a home for someone, built this beautiful custom home for them, and 6 months later, he's, like, passes it, and it's got a for sale sign. He's like, "What is happening?" And he finds out that when they started this home, that because of what the interest rates were, or yeah, yes,
Yeah.
what the rates were, his payment would be $2,500. In 6 months, now he's in his home, what the rates are now, his payment is $7,000.
That's
Who
bonkers.
can who can afford that? That
Yeah.
is insane, and I think they were all supposed to drop, is it today or tomorrow? Like, everybody in the world's watching for rates and see if they're gonna climb or go down. I think it's today
Oh,
or tomorrow.
I've stopped
You're in
watching the
Canada,
news
so you
because, like,
don't
I'm in Canada,
you're
but it's in Toronto. I have more in my bank for a down payment than my parents paid for their first house, and
Yes,
I can't
isn't that
afford a home.
crazy? No, it's crazy. So, yes, so I'm with you. So, I think you are right. You nailed it on the head in saying that we are all sick of it. We're all getting sick of it. I was in all these different countries that when we first left, we had 8 vacation rentals, and they were built in, like, the 1980s, and so they did have things in them like the old stoves, but they're for snowbirds, right? So people
Yeah.
who owned them were for snowbirds, so they didn't get used a lot. They were in very good condition. I am the type of person that's like, "Okay, this is trash," right? I'm gonna tell you it's trash. I'm gonna get rid of it, or if it doesn't function properly, it has no purpose.
Yeah.
But these are old appliances that work great.
They probably
So
function better arguably than the newer stuff made today.
yes, hence why I have refurbished washer and dryer. That's
Yep.
exactly why. So anyway, I would get tons of comments on how outdated the unit was, even though I had gone in and renovated and put new carpet, new paint, new furniture, whatever, how outdated these units were. And I all I could say was, I'm not wasteful. The appliances work fine, and
Yeah.
thank you for your stay. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't wanna come back, don't come back, but I'm not gonna replace my stove that is brand new basically because it's brown.
Yeah.
Sorry, it offends your delicate senses that it's not glistening stainless steel or the new ones, which are gorgeous, don't get me wrong. But yeah, so I when we're out in other countries and we're living and staying in these places that they don't have dishwashers. You wash your own dishes. That's
Yep.
normal. You don't have a dryer. You, are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You do not have
Nowhere
a
in
dryer.
Europe has
Forget about
dryers.
it.
Yeah.
Nowhere. We had to pay for our own heat in France. They went out, checked the meter, and said, okay. And then we left. And this is a very, very nice a place we stayed, a very nice home. And he went back out, checked the meter when we left, said, okay, you owe us this much more. And we're like, okay. Like things like this that, like you said, in North America, we are just like offended by
Yeah.
this kind of living situation. And you go somewhere else and they're like, this is so normal. What are you talking about? This is so bizarre.
And when they come here, they laugh at us. They're like, "What are you so concerned about? What like this is the dumbest thing
There,
ever."
you have no problems. You have
Yeah.
no problems. Your
I
problem is you have too
remember
much crap making problems.
I had a group of I used to volunteer in Ukraine a lot at summer camps for orphan kids. And there was one year that we brought a bunch of them to Canada to do a performance to raise money for a gala. That's the long story short. Um, this was their first time leaving Ukraine, their first time in our country, and the majority of the volunteers who were driving them around, like we took them to Niagara Falls, we would do day trips kind of thing, and um, the majority of the people who were volunteering were very well off. So driving in like Mercedes, BMWs, like very nice cars. And I drove a Sebring at the time, but I have OCD, so my Sebring was very clean. Like I clean it weekly. And so I remember one of the guys got in. This is one of the older ones who was like in his 30s. And he got in and he was like, "Wow, this is the nicest car we've been in." And I thought, "Excuse me?" He goes, "It's so clean. It's so," and he was going on and on about the cleanliness of my car and how he wanted to continue the trip driving with me in my 1999 Sebring that at that point was already 10 years old because it was clean and I took care of it. And I thought, like, what are these Mercedes looking like? It's like, oh, Cheerios on the floor. And I thought, it's really not about how much you spend on something. It's whether or not you take care of it. And that's something my mom used to instill in us all the time. And I just did it because it's kind of how I grew up. But that moment really was an aha moment for me when I realized, because I used to feel bad. I was like, oh, I'm the only one who doesn't have a fancy car. So I'm less than. And then for them to say, oh, I want to drive with you because your car's so nice, it really kind of put everything else to the back burner.
I actually am writing down it's not how much you spend, but how you take care of it. Because for me, in my private coaching community and my listeners, I mean, anywhere,
Hmm.
is what if we think about that as exactly what the root of the problem of all of this, what we're talking about is? It's not how much money we're putting into it. It's not how much money we're spending on it, but how we're taking care of it. Boom. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
You could thank my late mother for that because she said that all the time. It
What a
was
cool
all, I
lady.
would go to my friends' houses and they had like a $400 dress that they would throw on the floor because they were deciding what to wear. And I'm like, oh my, I would never, I would, my dress was $20 and I would hang it back up and it was just something that was really instilled in us. And I think that's part of why I am in the career that I'm in right now because I'm seeing the problems, but I know the solutions for people. And to be able to
Right.
walk them through that is very rewarding.
Normalizing. Okay, so now here we are. We're back on track because I have lots of questions for you and I don't even know if we're going to get to them because you are so fun to talk to. I think yes, normalizing. Normalizing the fact that what you have is wonderful. What you have is wonderful. Being okay with what you have and embracing it for what it is, just like your body, just like anything. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about external things right now, but anything, what we talk about with our bodies, with ourselves, but same thing with our external, surroundings and being okay with it. And yes, like you already said, if you do have the means for more extravagant things or the beautiful kitchen, one day I will have that. You mark my words. I guarantee you it will fit my family because I don't hate cleaning. I like cleaning, but I don't want to be consumed by it,
Mhm.
right? I don't want to have so many surfaces that I have to clean. But my biggest thing too is I don't want to have to yell to get my kids to come down you know what I mean? Like, I live in a tiny 1,300 square foot house and they ignore me. So what if I lived in a 7,000 square foot house, right? My kids I would never
One
know where they are.
one click of the internet switch, the internet's off, they come running to you. It works every time.
That's brilliant.
No joke. I used to be a nanny and I used to be an elementary school teacher, and that's what I would do.
My gosh, that's brilliant. Did you guys
Mhm.
you just
Never had
heard it
to
here.
yell.
That was like the biggest life hack I've ever heard, parenting life hack I've ever heard in my life. So we're making it awareness, right? We're talking about it. We're normalizing these things and talking about you're not broken for feeling this way. We're human. It's being part of a society that we've all come this far together, right? We've
Yep.
all come this far together. We're in it together, folks. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. We're in it together. But now we're starting to see that we're separating, right? Some of us are sick of it. And so this is where it becomes. So what are some practical and empowering strategies for stay-at-home moms to maintain a clutter-free and organized home? If you've been a nanny, wow, I cannot wait to hear these.
Yeah, honestly, it's less is more. I was just giving this example. I was at my cousin's son turned 3 this weekend, and we had a birthday party for them. They had a birthday party to which I was invited. And I messaged the wife, my cousin's wife, and I said, "Hey, Nikki, what do you guys need? You have 4 young boys under 4. What do you want? I know you don't want toys. I know you're overwhelmed. What do you want? What does what does Daniel need?" is what I asked. And she said, "He really doesn't need anything." And I appreciated her response, and she answered me flat out, and I appreciated that because I thought, I don't want to make this weird. I want us to be able to have these conversations. I said, she said, "Thank you for asking. First of all, he doesn't need anything. We're okay. But he likes Doritos and he likes watermelon juice and bear paws. These are things that we don't buy because we don't do the whole snack thing. And this is what he loves." I said, "Great. That is what I will buy him." So that is what I bought him. And I took a video of him opening it, and he was over the moon because he's 3. He doesn't need toys. He doesn't need it. He pulled the Doritos out of the gift bag and put it on the ground, like to know not to break that. He was like, "Wow." And then he saw the bear paws. It was like 1 box of bear paws and it's like 8 in there. And he dumped it out. He goes, "There's" then he got excited. And I was reminded that every time I go over there to play with them, we never play with the toys. We run around the backyard chasing invisible ninjas and stuff. And so all that to say is that less is more. As a teacher, I have my master's of child psychology and education. So I have researched the child mind quite a bit. The less we give them, like in terms of physical objects, the more they are forced to use their imaginations, and that's using their brains. They are
Yeah.
like warming up their brains for everything that they are learning. And so when a child is forced to play with a I say forced, but play with a wooden spoon, for example, that child is going to be able to solve problems, bigger problems down the road in life because they had to when they were a child. Not, "Oh, I'm bored. There's 700 toys on the floor. Mom, I'm going to have a meltdown, so you buy me something new." Because kids are very smart. They know they're not trying to be manipulative. They're learning how life works. They're like, "If I cry in the middle of Walmart, I will get this toy because mom doesn't want me to cry in front of people,"
Right.
or things like that. So it's really honing down on what you own. And I say 10 toys per kid. That's it. And most
Oh,
families, when we do this, they fight me on it, and then they call me later and they say, "We ended up going down to 5 because 10 was too much."
I am so excited you just gave me that permission. I've already been doing this. This is my 2024 goal. I've already been doing this. It started in December, and I mean, the amount because I have 3 boys too. So, of course,
Mhm.
it's gone down and down and down. So, and it's just and again, we learned this last time we took a backpack. Our littlest, he's 3. We were in Alaska in July and kept being homesick. He kept saying, "I want to go home." He kept saying, "I want to go home." My husband said, "Why do you want to go home?" He said, "I miss my dinosaurs." And so we were like, okay.
Ah,
So when we left to Europe, we packed his bag full of maybe like 10 dinosaurs. And every single picture, I mean, there's multiple pictures of him in various Airbnbs. And the very first thing he does is unpacks his dinosaurs and lays them out. And that's what, and he was happy as a clam, could not
Yep.
have been happier. And he's got this home filled with toys. But that was the thing that he said would make him not be homesick. And so, yeah, I've been going through just getting rid of, getting rid of, getting rid of. And I still feel like I can't get rid of more. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I love that. Thank you for giving me permission to get rid of more.
And it's how you frame it too. Don't when I work with a lot of kids, a lot of families with kids. And when I come in, obviously parents are hesitant. A, I'm a stranger. They're like, we're inviting this stranger into our home to work with our children. But within 5 minutes, a lot of parents are like, oh great, can we go back downstairs to work? Or like I have one family, they're like, we need to go run some errands. Can we just I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with that. And I love working with the kids because we make it a game. I never say, well, like, let's talk about what we're getting rid of. I say, hey, you want to show me your favorite? And I work down. I say your favorite 5 toys. And they're like, yeah. And they run around and they grab their favorite 5 toys. And then I say, you want to show me your next favorite 5? And I work in like small numbers because if you make it too big, then they're overwhelmed.
Right.
And it gets to a certain point where we make it to maybe round 4 and they're looking around and they're like, mm, and they have no idea. That first 5 was like, yes, these are my things. And then I make piles of their favorites. And then and then I send the kids off. And then when the parents come home, we go through it because like, for example, your kid might not have thought of the dinosaurs because they were in his room or something, and then you're like, oh, we really should add the dinosaurs to this pile because he plays with them all the
Right.
time. Then everything else can go. And then depending on their age, I do bring in the conversation. I still do it that way because if you focus your mind on the joy, not what you're getting rid of, you're setting yourself up for success. But I had that conversation with the older kids, probably maybe seven and up, that say, wouldn't it be great if we could share these toys with a child who doesn't have them? Because this used to be a thing where we would say at the other side of the world. But now there's so much poverty here on our own front doorstep that you can say a kid in your school. And
Right.
these kids see it. They understand. Again, kids are smarter than we give them credit for. We can say, maybe there's a kid in your class who would like this toy or something where they get that mindset of giving back. This world is not just me, me, me. It's not about me. As soon as we start teaching our kids it that's when the world becomes a better place. Because right now we have had a few years where it's been me, me, me. I want this, I want that. It's all about me and Instagram and but we're starting to shift back out, which is good. But as
Yeah.
soon as we
The
get
kids
kids to do
watching
that,
the kids watching these YouTube kids opening toys. Like,
oh
what?
yeah, don't get
You're
me
just
started on that.
watching them open toys?
And that
So
kid made
that
what, like
is
40 million in a year or
oh
what?
my
Yeah.
gosh, wow. So it was one of the huge blessings that we got to do this with our young kids and go travel and see things. But that is one of the lessons that we absolutely wanted to highlight and have them learn is that there are kids. I mean, we've done like the Polynesian Islands, we've done places
Oh,
that
so
are
you've seen all
very,
kinds, yeah,
yes. So
impoverished, yeah.
we were on a cruise ship and we pulled up to one of these islands and there was a group of these adorable kids out singing "You Are My Sunshine" for the guests coming off this cruise ship.
Mhm.
And one of my little guys at the time, I don't know how old he was at the time. I'm trying to think of the picture. Maybe they were like 5 and 7, 5 and 8, something like that. And the night before, actually, they had been in the kids club and they'd made all of these balloon flowers and balloon animals and balloon I mean, our cabin was I'm like, I'm going in there with a pen. This is not, like and they said, "Can we go back on the ship and go get all of our balloons?" And so we have a video of them bringing all of these balloon things out and giving them to these kids, and I was like, "It was worth it. That was worth it. That one
Yeah.
moment was worth everything I've, done up until this point as a mother." But I
Children
love
have
that.
so
I
much
love
empathy. I think
they
we don't
do.
even have to teach it to them. We just have to allow them to do it, right? That to express it rather.
Allow them to do it. That's awesome. What did I just hear today that was something super cool about that? Oh, that children are like creations. It's like, okay, this is a little taking a little bit of a right turn here.
That's
So
fine.
our dreams, women have a very hard time saying what their dreams are, right? Like
Mhm.
dreaming bigger, especially stay-at-home moms. Their dream is to have kids. Their dream is to have a home. Their
Yeah.
dream is to have a family, right? And so once you've got that, it's like, well, what's next? And you start to feel guilty for wanting what's next. Like, why would you feel guilty? Well, because I already have like what I want. Well, you can have
Yeah.
more. Like you are made for more. Whatever you want, have whatever you want. So try and get these women to and drag these dreams out of them. But I just, and it's actually going into my call with them tomorrow, is think of your kids. They are your creations, right? You created them. You made these little kids and they're all mixed up of the same DNA and they come from the same place, but look how different they all are.
Mhm.
So if you start telling them, just like your dreams, it's too big, don't do that. Or
Yeah.
you can't do this, you have to do this. Or you start stifling them and trying to fit this square into this round, right? And this, maybe I was on a coaching and she said, my beautiful friend Kira, she said, what if you're trying to make yourself a flower? You're like, oh, I'm a flower. I'm a flower. I'm going to be the most beautiful flower. And then all of a sudden underneath, it's like, but you're a cactus. Let me be a cactus. Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Stop the
you're a
water.
cactus.
Stop
Look at,
watering
yeah,
me.
yeah.
You're gonna
And
kill me.
you turn this in. So yes, saying the kids, if we allow them to be these things, if we allow them to be empathetic, we allow them to be who they're supposed to be, and us as well. If we allow ourselves
Yeah.
to be who we are supposed to be, then I'm going to land this plane. Watch how I bring this back. Here it comes. You ready for
I'm
this?
ready. I'm
We
ready. Geared up.
allow ourselves to be who we are supposed to be and who we were created to be, then we can love that my stove is from 1991.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that because I love Gina. I am who I'm supposed to be, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't need the fancy. Is Kenmore even a brand? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
Uh,
like
I assemble
GE, I don't know.
stylings. I don't even.
What's a bear
What's a
paw, by the
stove?
way?
Yeah.
What is
It
that?
it's a cookie. It's like a separately wrapped cookie in the shape of a bear paw.
Okay. I was thinking the donut, but I'm like, that's not what she's talking about. He got multiples. He's not having multiple donuts. Okay, I
No,
had
it
to
was
ask.
just
That was one of
it's like
those
a separately packaged. It's a sugar treat. This is why they don't
foreign
get them for
communicating
them.
here.
Yeah.
This is foreign
Yeah.
communicating.
But also, I mean, you've been traveling the world where they don't serve that kind of garbage. Like
Oh no.
it's not good for you. It's and
Yes.
that's why
The
she's like, we don't buy
McDonald's in
this.
Europe is so good.
Yeah,
So
so
good. And a
different.
salad with every meal instead of fries. And not just a junky gross salad, like a hand-picked
An
salad
actual,
from
yeah,
some local sourced producer, right?
yeah.
Wow. So I have a big question for you. This is a good one because I just
Okay.
went off on a little bit of a vent on my last previous recording. In the world of organization and all of these beautiful like you said, your home, this beautiful, just organizational, like I see this drawer and I'm just like, oh, like you give me a well organized drawer like that. And yeah, that does it for me. What about not spending to create these things, these organizers, these people who are telling you to create this beautifully organized, decluttered space? They're telling you to go out to the crate store and buy all of these things to help you organize your house. And it's like,
Yep.
you're bringing in more clutter.
Yes, you are.
How do we
So,
avoid this?
okay, I'm gonna get a lot of heat from organizers. I hope none of them follow you.
I
No
am
offense.
too. I do. I have a really good friend and she'll be on here too, but still, let's talk about this. Let's give
Um,
options.
I think the sometimes, yes, sometimes having a certain container benefits for sure, no question. I would say that's maybe 10% of the time. When I work with clients at the beginning, I was starting I'm my own boss. So I'm the one calling the shots. So these are my own errors that I was making. But I thought I must also send them to the container store and we must buy all the bins and spend 10 grand on bins to organize these things. And I realized that's not the solution at all because, first of all, most clients already have bins in their homes. Most of the things we are organizing are in closed drawers anyway. So it's different sometimes in a pantry. When you want it to look nice, you want to walk in and you want it to be cohesive, 100%. If you are organizing a drawer, do not spend $20 on a bin that you're going to stick in a drawer and close. We've got the bins. We've got old um, phone boxes or whatever. It's finding what you've got already in your home so that you're not spending money. I really try to help my clients not spend more money if we don't have to. Sometimes you have to. But the main thing to say is that nobody lives in a magazine. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Like, photos are photos. They're staged. Right now, if you look behind me, I'm like, oh, everything's so nice. And if I turn the camera one way this way or one way this way,
You don't
you'd be
want
like,
to turn
I'm
my camera.
sorry, what? And that's social media life. Like, we're selling you something. But the question I want you to ask yourself when you're about to buy a solution, I'm using air quotes here, who is benefiting from this purchase? Is it you? Is it your organizer? Is it the Container Store or the people who created these bins? Who is benefiting? I'll use the Kardashians as an example. They are brilliant businesswomen. This is not a criticism on them at all. But they sell us stuff every darn day to present a lifestyle idea of like, if you buy this or this or this, you will have my lifestyle. That is not even remotely true.
Right.
That is not even remotely true, but we all do it. Same as like, there was an episode, I think it was like the Home Edit who did an episode in one of the Kardashians' homes. I can't remember. Khloe, I think. She was on the episode. And they went in and they did all the things. But she has children. And yes, children like order and you can get them to do things. But the house is not going to look like a magazine unless someone is following that person around and picking up after them every second. So unless you have that person in your life, don't go buy the bins because it's never going to look like that. You buy the bins if it's going to make your life easier, if it's going to eliminate the stress in your day. But if you spent $2,000 on bins and now you're like, well, how am I going to pay for this? It's not solving any problems. Everything still looks cluttered. So all that 7-hour story to say, it's about owning less, not buying more to fix what you have. You can buy as many bins as you want. If you have too much stuff, we can use the water example. Sometimes with clients, I have pictures of water. And I have a glass of water here, or an empty glass here and a pitcher here. There is no way in the world this pitcher is going to empty into that glass because the pitcher is 3 times the size. I could buy all the different dividers and whatever to try to make it look pretty in that glass. It will not fit. So you have to go to the pitcher and you have to empty that. And that's when life will get less. If you only own 3 pairs of shoes, you're not going to be looking for your shoes ever because you know exactly where they are because you take them off and you put them where you need them. We never lose our toothbrush.
Yeah,
have you ever lost your toothbrush?
We have one.
We have one. We know exactly where it is. You're never going to wake up and say, oh, there it is under the couch.
Well, hopefully not, but
Well, yeah, it depends on how good the night was the night before, but you know what I mean? Like we take care of that.
You have one and you know exactly where it is and you take care of it because of what it is. That's very interesting. I came up with a hashtag for you and
I'm ready.
Turn the camera. Hashtag turn the camera.
Oh,
I'm
God.
going to start it. Hashtag
Are we doing it? Oh, God. Okay.
We're doing it. I don't know how we can. We can. It's fine.
It's true.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a 3-year-old that sleeps in my bed, so obviously it was a strip the bed day.
Oh, right? That's not bad.
No. And the what's bad about let's see. There's the laundry basket. Okay, I already emptied that one. Thank goodness.
Okay.
The funniest part about that laundry basket is we got home December 18th or 19th, something like that. Those are my packing cubes.
Nice.
That's everything else is happening around the house. I had to record a podcast in a room that was my bedroom and my nursery. This wall was my child's nursery. And I had a podcast episode scheduled for December 28th after Christmas. So we got home on the 19th, had Christmas. And my husband came in and I'm like, got it, just rip it all out. And so this was my space. It was gutted and horrifying. But I recorded that first podcast episode like this.
Well, there you go. And it's a certain, I was going to avoid
I showed you mine. Now you show me yours.
Yeah. So I moved the mirror because it was distracting in the background, but I got my ring light there. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I was
same ring
throwing
light.
things. I got my ring light. case there. I did not make my bed because when I woke up, I with the time change, I was very confused as to when this was starting.
Oh, yes,
So
right.
I
We are
kept
on
like
opposite ends of the world here.
re-preparing myself. I'm like, is it now? Do I have time to shower? What is happening? And I just kept throwing things and doing things. But
I
yeah,
love it.
turn the camera. I like it. And
I love
people
it.
relate to that. And that's
Yeah.
what people want. They're tired of the pretty falsities because it's just not real. And it makes people feel bad about themselves.
Which, wow, you just led right into my next question because we want to touch into the mental health part of this.
Hmm.
Because I was going to say, when you were talking about the Kardashians and their homes and these kinds of things, is I also consider myself a recovering OCD. Like I have to physically. Who did I tell the other day? And I said, "This is my third baby. This is not my first. This is my
Hmm.
third baby, and I know how to do all the things." With this baby, I had to physically tell myself because again, this was the nursery, this wall, this was
Yeah.
his closet. I had to tell myself, "You do not have to fold onesies. You do not have to fold pajamas.
No.
They get thrown in the bin.
Throw
They
them in
get
the bin.
thrown in the drawer." So I had to physically be okay with that, right? That was a process. It was a practice. I had to get over it. So same with when I was the very first newlywed, had no kids, and my home looked exactly like I wanted it to look. My husband
Hmm.
would come home and throw his shoes, and I would,
Yeah.
you know. So what is that saying about my mental health? What is that saying about my relationship with clutter? What is that saying with like I have to be okay with the fact that kids live in this home. I have a new puppy. I have a husband, he's huge. I mean, he makes a mark, right? We have to cook food in this kitchen. The kitchen gets dirty, right? I have to
Yeah.
be okay with these things. So, share some tips with how decluttering and home organization impacts mental health.
Well, I will, yes, I will do that. I wanted to just touch on you were saying like in the kitchen, we have to cook. I have to sleep in that bed. I didn't make the bed this morning because I kept logging in to see what time I was meeting you. I was like, I just can't be late. So I just sat here all day. But
All
as soon
day.
as this is done, I will be able to go and put everything away. I'll pack up my ring light, put that away. Everything has a home and I don't have a lot of stuff. So that looked disastrous, but everything will get put away. I will make my bed and I will probably vacuum just because I'm me, but it'll take maybe 10 minutes. So the goal here is to have less so that you can recharge your brain. This comes into the mental health part of it. They say a decluttered space is a decluttered mind. When you see this overwhelm that you just saw, for me, this is overwhelming because this is not really how I live. But there are some people who have so much of this that they don't know where to start when it comes to resetting. I call it the
Right.
room reset. If you have so many things to reset, that's when the weight starts getting put on you. When you have less and systems in place, I have still horrible mental health weeks where I'm like, I come in and I come home from work and I drop things and I just can't because I have so many things on the go as well. Also not helpful. I've got work, I've got in-person clients, I've got digital clients, I've got podcasting, I've got all these things that I'm doing, filming videos for Instagram. Sometimes it's just like get them done and then drop everything. And then when I'm feeling better, I give myself a week max. I like set yourself some timelines because I could say I'm never going to feel better and then it just starts to pile up. But when I'm
Right.
feeling better, I reset the space and everything has a home. I say respect the things you own by giving each of them a home. And if I was talking to kids, I would say, well, when you go to bed at night, when you go to sleep, where do you go? To my bed. And everyone has a bed. And so I say, like with your stuff, put your things in their bed. It's not necessarily a bed. Your crayons go back in the box. Your dolls go back on the shelf or wherever. And so it's getting into those habits, whether you are 5 years old or 50 years old, it's creating those habits. And the less you own, the easier it is to get into those habits. And you can focus more on your mental health because you're not worried about everything else around you.
Yeah, that's so good. I become more of a crazy person when I'm trying to keep up on what I feel like it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. I really do. I turn into more of a crazy person. It turns into more of a fight. It turns into more of a mean mom because I'm trying to control the uncontrollable, right? It's
Mhm.
their kids. They're going to play. They need to play.
They
They're
do.
it's the kitchen. We have to use it. So when I can, like you said, become aware of the fact that it's happening, admitting that this is happening and this is why it's happening, and it's okay. I'm not broken. Well, ish. It's okay. But and loving the season as well. I mean, is
Yeah.
that a cliche or what? Like, this is not forever,
It Own
moms.
it. Yeah.
This is not
Soak it
forever.
up.
So, yeah. All right. Holy cow. So good. So good. In what ways can mothers reclaim, oh, this is a good one, their personal space and prioritize self care through intentional decluttering, allowing them to nurture themselves amidst the demands of motherhood?
Mhm. Don't take it all on yourself. Don't take
Oh,
it all on yourself.
thank you.
I see this everywhere,
We give
every
birth to
day.
slaves.
But okay, I actually just posted this on my Facebook page because I couldn't post it on Instagram, but it was a bunch of video compilations of children doing like outrageous things to get what they wanted, like a cookie on a top shelf. Like there was a kid who like called the dog over to step on the dog to climb into the fridge to get something. Kids are so flippin' smart. Kids are so smart. And we tend to think, oh, it's my job as I say we, I'm not a mother, but as
Right.
women, I think a lot of women do this where it's like, oh, it's my job. I must do all of this because my child has homework or my child is busy or blah, 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 blah. My child can't. My child can't learn how to fold clothes, Ivanka. I hear this all the time. I'm like, I work with kids as young as 3. It doesn't have to be perfectly folded. Teach them how to fold those onesies that you're not folding anyway.
Mhm.
Get them into the habits. Because if we didn't teach kids habits, we would all be walking around in diapers because we would have
Right.
given up on potty training when it got hard. We don't give up on that. So don't give up on the other things. Teach your children little things, age appropriate chores. Just Google age appropriate chores, and there are millions of lists out there. Get your kids involved. You should not be picking up after your children. After they eat, you should not be taking their plate. They should be taking it. If a child can figure out how to use an iPad, they can
Oh my
figure out
gosh.
anything else in the world.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad you said that because so many of us feel like you said, it's our job and it's like what you're putting them out because they had to do the dishes? No. I was raised in a home with 8 kids and
Ooh,
there was a lot of independence with that because
yeah.
it's physically impossible for one person to keep up with that amount. So, yeah, it's either whether my mother told me to do it or not, it happened. It just happened naturally because I wanted it done and I needed it done. And she could not, as this regular human being, do it
Do this
all.
too. Nor
And so
should she
I
have
learned,
to.
nor should she have to.
That's
Exactly.
I think that's I
100%.
think the message here is that you are your job is to make sure your children are fed, are loved, are taken care of. Meaning like they have a roof over their head and the basic life necessities. It is you are their teachers, not their
Yeah.
caretakers. You're you're doing them a disservice by doing things for them. I had a friend, I remember my first year of university, I went over to her. She had like moved out of her house first time in an apartment. She called me. She's like, "Can you help me?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" I don't know how to do laundry. I've never done laundry. This is far more common than you could even my mind was blown. I've been doing laundry since I was
My
7.
husband.
Mm. But it's little things. You're and don't hold that guilt because there shouldn't be a guilt with motherhood and that the job as a mother, it does not mean a custodian,
Slave.
a home yeah, wasn't sure if I could use that word, but yeah, that's not your job.
Right.
Your job is to love them and teach them and keep them safe. That's it. So I think a lot of it comes with guilt. A lot of it comes with also the comparing yourselves with mothers on the internet, with
Yes.
like the Utah moms.
Yes.
There are a
I
lot of
know
people who are
we are all perfect, so it's very
yeah,
hard to keep up with us.
Well, but that's
They're
that.
like, Gina, we tune in, we know.
But do you know what I mean?
I'm breaking the stigma. Personally, I'm personally breaking the stigma.
That's good. I'm glad I'm here for this moment.
Yes, yes.
But
So
yeah, take away the guilt.
I have that was amazing. That was perfect. I'm going to narrow this down to two more because I really want to respect your time, but we could go on and on and
I
on
can
because
go.
this
Yeah,
is too
let's
good.
keep
We
going.
could go on and on and on. Let's move into parenting. No, just kidding. Okay, so how can wait, where was it? What advice would you give to women who struggle with the guilt and overwhelm when it comes to decluttering and organizing, encouraging them to embrace progress over perfection? I think we've talked about this a lot, but still I have been doing this myself. I think this is a practice. I think we need to break these things down smaller and smaller and smaller because my closet, I still don't feel like it's anywhere near where it needs to be. And I've gone through it now twice in the last 5 months. And my husband just went through his and made a significant, but still, it's not where it needs to be. So, what other advice do you have for women when it comes to this kind of overwhelm?
I think the first thing is define what needs to be. What does that? Because even when you said that both times, you
The end
hesitated.
game.
Well, but what does that mean? Whose standards are you holding?
Oh,
Because you
you
said,
caught me.
oh,
I
it
forget.
needs to be like according to
Well,
whom?
for my mental, it needs to be. It's a small space. It's overwhelming. We would like to still live in this home because, like we discussed, I
There's
don't
no
want to buy
need
a
to
home
me.
right
Yeah.
now. That's just
Yeah.
dumb. Anyway, but even though we could do it. It's dumb to do it right now. That's not smart. So we want to grow our family, and I got nowhere to put this baby. My last baby's nursery was in my bedroom. Where's
There you
that
go.
baby gonna go? Now a new baby's coming, so we gotta
So
make
there's
room.
there's your first part, defining what the needs to be is.
Okay,
So
okay,
the
awesome.
next part, because you want to make room for your priorities are, is my kid going to sleep in my closet, or are we going to
Right,
make room? Like, what are the priorities here? So
right,
defining that's step one. Step two is realizing that we as women, as people, whoever is listening to this, we change. We are not the same person we were even a year ago. I don't care who you are, what your situation is, you are not the same person right now as you were a year ago. And oftentimes when it comes to wardrobes, we hold on to things because not because we'll wear it again, but because we liked who we were when we did wear it. And sometimes we realize we're not that person anymore. And we're like, oh, I have this dress because it made me look super awesome. I looked hot in this dress with these boots and whatever. I can't wear heels anymore because I walk with a cane most of the time. So why am I keeping these boots and this dress? I'm not that girl anymore. I'm not that woman anymore, even though this may have been 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So it's okay to let go, and it's okay. You have to let go to make room. This is a perfect analogy, literally for you. You have to let go to make room for new babies.
literally.
You have to let go of who you were to make room for who you are to become or who you are now. And so that's, I think, the biggest piece when it comes to wardrobes is we say, oh, but I used to fit into these jeans and I love them. And, or,
Right.
oh, but I
Or
might
what
lose
if
weight
I'll
and I
fit in
might.
them?
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Mhm.
Forget that. Put that aside. Give those jeans to a woman who will fit into them now and who needs to feel good now. Let's support each other and give back. And we've talked about this, circling back to the poverty in our own countries. We are basically the same country in that regard of
Right,
like what we're seeing here, which is not what we used to see even
right,
10 years ago. So supporting each other there, getting rid of those things so you can have less to really hone in on who you are. We only wear 10% of our wardrobe 90% of the time. Figure out what that 10% is, and it's okay to say bye to the rest. Keeping, that one dress if you get invited to a wedding, or the one funeral dress that we all like, keeping like a few staples, but you don't need 10 dresses because we're of the age where we're not going to a wedding every weekend anymore.
right.
Like when I was in my 20s, I would go to a wedding a weekend for all summer. That's not me. I've been wearing the same dress to every wedding that I've been invited to the last 3 years because who cares?
Do you know what's actually interesting when you just said that? Oh my gosh, I think my puppy is howling.
That's what I heard that. I was like, is there a siren?
Can you hear? I thought it was a siren too, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's sad. Oh, she's sad. I gotta go get her.
Hmm.
So I have two dresses in there that actually my grandmother made herself,
Oh,
and they only fit me when I'm pregnant, and they are just adorable because of what they are, right? I mean,
yeah.
right. And
The
I'd had someone
sentimentality around
actually
that. Yeah.
it is the sentimentality is just crazy with this. So, with things like that, ladies, let me give you some advice that someone gave me, and I'm going to have to after this next time that I can possibly wear them. She said, "Take a picture of yourself in it,
Hmm.
and then you can remember why it was special to you, right? And then you can let it go and let it be now part of someone else's memory, but take a picture and then you have a picture of it
Yeah.
and not necessarily that because I know my grandma, she would have gotten a kick out of me wearing it once,
Yeah.
but would not have wanted me to have anything that caused me more stress or anxiety, which obviously one dress does not do. But right. So I'm not saying I need to get rid of it, but I'm saying in those moments when you feel like my husband, he had a lot of sentimentality around all of the belongings of his grandparents, right? And now
Hmm.
we've had to go through it all. And it's we have a truck and we have a side by side and we have a boat and we have these are grandpa's things. And he's still going through his part of that. And then I have to let him work through it. But for me, I got to go through those kinds of things when we went through the recession and we lost a lot of our things that I did hold value in. They weren't
Hmm.
sentimental like that, but I did hold value in and kind of realized that's not grandpa, right? That's not
Yeah.
him. It's right. So when it is time to let it go, it needs to be let go. But like I said, yes, these are things that you need to work on yourself in your own time. But ladies, again, if that's a little hint that helps you let go of something, take a picture of yourself in it, let it go.
Yeah. And if you want to keep one thing from your grandmother, or for me, it was when my mother passed away. She passed away too young. And I realized that keeping everything wasn't going to bring her back. And that's when
Right.
I realized, like, okay, I have a few things of hers that I have in my closet. I have a dress that she bought me that I very rarely wear, but I will never get rid of it. It's because it's one thing that's not causing. I still do wear it every now and again, but it's like I didn't need to keep everything. I didn't need to keep every single thing that she owned because it won't bring her back. So find the things that mean the most to you, and like you said, do the picture thing. Especially if it belonged to her and you have a picture of her wearing it and you wear it,
Oh,
like you can do something like that, because stuff stuff does not make the person, like you said. That's not grandma, that's not grandpa. So once you realize that, you have to allow yourself to let that go to make room for your life, because right now you're living theirs,
mm,
which was a life you never lived in the first place. Like, it was not your
right.
life to live.
What and that dress that your mother got you probably brings you joy every
It
time you see
does.
it.
It
It
does. Every
probably makes
time.
you happy. It probably makes you remember her. Like that's what I told my husband so I like to buy something where we've been, whatever.
Mhm.
And like you're saying, those are the items that I probably will never let go of. I have a jumpsuit, I have a romper from the very, very, very first time we went to Europe, and I wear it all the time. And it's like those things I have a necklace on right now that's from Nice, that I've
Mhm.
had for years and years. And when I see it, it reminds me of those memories. It
Yep.
reminds me of those things. So yes, those are things that so this wraps into my last question. How can we help these women celebrate the process of decluttering and organization, reframing it as a joyful and empowering experience for nurturing themselves and their families?
Think it's about honestly, it's about the conversations. It's about not being afraid to have these conversations of you and I talking about my old carpet, your old stove, clothes that, we maybe purchased and didn't wear them. And it's okay to say, you know what, that was dumb. Let's move on.
Right.
And right now, you and I, who have never met up until an hour ago, feel like we are more connected probably than people who know each other because they don't want to have these conversations.
Right.
right? There are women who've known each other for years who would never dare ask them, what do you need for me to buy your child for their birthday? Because it's embarrassing. It's a taboo. Oh, we don't do that. Have the conversations. Let's normalize this. Let's normalize saying it's okay that maybe your kitchen is outdated by whose standards. Also, are you able to cook? Are you able to feed your family? Then that's enough. Letting each other know that it's enough. Whatever you do, if you only are able to organize your sock drawer today, that is enough. If you want to take on your whole closet and you've got the day off work that is enough. Every step forward is enough. And I think we need to support one another and stop tearing each other down because of what society tells us we should be or should have.
Or accepting each other and calling each other out a little bit even. I had a woman on here and she called me out and I was like, "Oh." And I was actually really glad she did. She's like, "Don't belittle that. Don't, you're not the same as me. Don't belittle what you just went through." And I was like, "Right. Absolutely." So when you see women or hear one of your friends that's like, "Oh my gosh, my house is so ugly," or whatever, it's like, your house is beautiful. It's supporting you. Be
Yeah.
that friend that kind of calls them out a little bit. Because, yeah, at first I was like, "What?" And then afterwards I was like, yeah, it did empower me. I was like, "You're right. I'm going to own that." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Don't belittle what your experience was.
Oh,
So
for
don't
sure.
belittle what your
It's your
experiences are."
experience.
Yeah.
My experience and your experiences are very different. And you could take this even further to say, you have a house. Drive down the street downtown, really in any city right now, and you will find people living on sidewalks. We are doing our societies a disservice. And then I catch this is a criticism on myself, not on you, but I catch myself whining about the carpet. And then I drive down the street and I see a person living in a sleeping bag. It's cold here in Canada, in Toronto, and I'm
Very cold.
whining about something stupid. And this person is living on the sidewalk for what? There's a huge disconnect. But I find myself comparing myself to the Instagram Utah moms, just to tie it all back in together, oh, I don't have that. I should be further along in my life. It's okay wherever you are. Your journey is yours. You were created for a purpose. You are living out that purpose. And as long as that's what you're doing, I say, do it. I don't know. You don't owe anybody anything other than kindness.
Right. Wow. Mic drop. Boom.
Sweet.
You done dropped it. And in case you didn't notice, we just ended that episode exactly the way we started it, with having open discussions about these things, being okay having these kind of conversations and normalizing it. Yay. Limbo. Doink.
Love it.
Thank you so much. Where can my listeners find you? What's the best source place?
The best probably is Instagram at Tidy Moose, TIDY, not tiny. I stutter and mumble sometimes. So people, tidy, like clean, and then moose, like the animal. I'm also on Facebook. I don't really engage that much on Facebook. It's just a lot. I'm just being honest. I try.
It is digital clutter.
Yeah, it is. And YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's old, but again, it's just the tips that I would record in a newer. The tips are legit.
Awesome.
They are current.
You have a really good link in bio. So Instagram is amazing. You really do have a great link in bio.
Oh yeah,
so
I've got all the things.
All of your sources there. So I will put those in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thanks,
I
Abby.
really
This was
appreciate it. You're like my new bestie. I'm coming to Toronto,
Right.
so I'll let you know when I get my ticket.
Got an old stove and ugly carpets. Welcome
all. It warms up a little bit, but
Yeah, don't do it now. We haven't seen sun in 3 months.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you it's 65 and sunny right now, so pretty nice here.
We were friends for a short amount of time. That
you can come see me. You can come see me.
Done. Let's do it.
Warm. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate you.
Thank you.